It's only been a couple of days since I started creating content here on Political Nerds, but it seems I'm already making an impact with the institution as the corrupt BBC has invited me to be on one of their shows. What do you think was my response? Hey up and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how the BBC actually got into contact with me, inviting me onto one of their shows. What was my response? I'll let you know. However, just as a quick disclaimer, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone, a particular group, religion, etc. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. So let's jump into it with this. Now, this is a copy of the email. I've copy and pasted essentially the full text of what was sent to me. The only thing that's missing is the sender's email address and contact number because I don't want them to be doxed, okay? But here, this email is from a senior journalist called Simon Tullett from BBC Radio 4. And they start off with the following. Dear Steph, I'm a producer on the BBC Radio 4 programme / podcast Antisocial, a weekly show that looks at an issue generating discussion and heat online, and then takes a step back to explore the facts, the context, and the differing views in detail, all in the hope of cooling things down and helping our listeners make sense of the issues. This week, we've been looking into the discussions about grooming gangs in the UK and have found a lot of online talk about multiculturalism. We wanted to dig into this in our programme this week and try to understand the dots being joined here, as well as the questions being raised about whether multiculturalism is a strength in this country. We're looking for passionate guests on both sides of this debate, and I've seen some of your posts about the story this week, so wondered if you might be interested in taking part in our show. And the video that they're particularly referencing is actually the first one that I uploaded here on Political Nerds. The dark reality of child grooming in the UK exposed. If you didn't catch that video, I'll link it in the description bar below and it'll be towards the end of this video right here. In the meantime, the email continues. Our programme takes the form of a live hour-long discussion between two people who come at the issue from different perspectives. Our other guest will be someone who believes multiculturalism is a benefit to British society, and that the awful grooming gangs news isn't proof that it can't work. Because it's an hour, our guests can make their points clearly and will be heard properly, and we can explore all the nuance of the debate in a way that shorter news programme formats often cannot. And although we always feature guests from opposite points of view, our discussions are rooted in mutual respect. We're the opposite of shouty, slangy matches, and our guests often find more common ground than they might have thought. The programme also typically contains 2 or 3 pre-recorded inserts exploring the facts around important parts of the debate. For example, where did the idea of multiculturalism first come from? The show is presented by Adam Fleming and broadcast live on Radio 4 this Friday. We do this from a studio in central London, close to Westminster Tube, and always aim to have guests join us there if at all possible. But we do also often have guests joining from other BBC studios around the country or via Zoom, FaceTime, etc. I'd be grateful if you would let me know what you think either way. If you are keen and think you have lots to say on the topic, then it would be great to chat on background, ideally tomorrow, to go over the format of the show and get your thoughts on the big questions. Now, first and foremost, the bit that kind of got my back up is the thing of, right, what we want to do here is, discuss multiculturalism, people that are for it, people that are against it. Here, he says, our other guest will be someone who believes multiculturalism is a benefit to British society. Well, hang on a minute. He is inferring, as far as I'm concerned there, that I'm on the opposite end. of the belief that multiculturalism isn't a benefit to our society. Dude, when have I ever said that? When have I ever said that? Let me be very clear. On the stance of multiculturalism, I am all for it. I'm all for multiculturalism. Dude, I'm half Italian. I'm a British citizen, but I have dual nationality. I'm British, but I'm also Italian. I'm all for multiculturalism. What I'm not for is the disintegration of British values and society and British identity. But I'm all for multiculturalism as long as it doesn't affect any of that. As long as, British society, British identity and British culture is maintained. As long as all those three boxes are ticked, then, yeah, I'm all for multiculturalism. His email to me is inferring that I'm not, by saying their other guest will be someone who believes multiculturalism is a benefit to British society. Yeah, he did wrong writing that as far as I'm concerned. And so, what do you think my response was? I kept it short and sweet, guys. Here we go. Dear Simon, thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate your invitation. However, I'm going to have to decline as I do not trust the BBC in having the true journalistic capacity to report on this issue. I have a deep distrust of the BBC and see the organisation simply as a mouthpiece for the decaying government we currently have the displeasure to have. The rot within the BBC institution runs deep, and I believe that the public funding into this corrupt and rotten institution should stop with immediate effect. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best for future episodes of Antisocial. Kind regards, Steph. And I do mean every single word that I wrote there. Like, totally. But if you think I'm going to go on a platform that I seriously, deeply, sincerely distrust, you've got another thing coming. Especially when, as far as I'm concerned, his earlier email, in my opinion, is inferring that I don't support multiculturalism in this country. That I don't believe multiculturalism is doing good for this country. No. That is a major, major incorrect assumption that got my back up straight away. Which furthers my belief and my stance in the distrust in the whole BBC institution in the first place. Now, I think I'll stay put exactly where I am on the internet, where more and more people, more and more members of the public are waking up to the notion that the BBC cannot be trusted, and where they should really get their news from and opinions from the internet, from YouTube, from Twitter, from other social media platforms. The BBC and other mainstream media institutions, they are on their way out. They are dying because trust in them is slowly, slowly decaying away. Whereas trust in us on the internet and news on the internet, that's on the increase, guys. See the polls for yourself. Says it all. Really? I'm going to go onto the BBC. You think I would trust the BBC to report on this with actual journalistic integrity? No. They are just, as far as I'm concerned now, simply a mouthpiece for the current decaying government we have the displeasure to have. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course, there's going to be more, then please subscribe to join our alternate tribe here on Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. If you had an invitation to go on to a show on the BBC, would you go on it or would you decline them? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all your faces. And Until the next time, you guys. Laters.